I was in Culver City meeting up with a friend for drinks I hadn't seen in a while. And he's like, oh, dude, what are you working on? Like, any cool projects? I'm like, oh, well, I actually just finished this project for NCAA. It's like just like a kind of a PSA promo type thing, but like I got to do all these parallax animations. And then I glance over to my right, and literally it's playing on the TV at the bar as I'm
Dude.
talking about it. And I was like, wait, dude, that's it. That's my commercial. Like, it was so crazy. I've never had that experience where I was like, one, seeing something out in the wild, but then two, literally talking about it, then seeing it right in front of me, like in public. I was like, "There's no way!" So wait, I was so excited. I'm like, "Wait, that's literally it. I just rendered that on my laptop like 2 days ago, and now it's on TV." Like, it was so weird. I
Oh
think
my
also
God.
especially because like it wasn't a project that was like a big team or like I had a small role in. Like, it was literally just me on my laptop here in my house, like
Yeah.
just churning out this animation, and now it's on national television.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Poor Decisions. Today, I have a very special guest. We have Ryan Laux in the house. Yay!
Hey, everyone.
Ryan Laux is a freelance motion designer, animator, VFX artist, and photographer, specializing in high-impact, short-form videos. Right? Videos? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's just a one-sentence liner of what you do.
I know.
Honestly, I took it from your website. You know, such
Honestly,
a great host.
I never know how to encapsulate it all because like I have done a little bit of everything. But yes.
I mean, you did it perfectly on your website. Just shameless plug, ryanlau.com. Check them out. To kick off the show, for everyone who has not met you yet, would you like to do your own intro that's not on your website?
Sure. My name is Ryan. I am originally from New Jersey, and I've been a creative for as long as I can remember. Fell in love with art at a very young age. Made my first animation when I was like 12, and I've just been doing it ever since. Like, I just I love making videos, just creating digital content, coming up with crazy ideas, and collaborating with other people, and making just cool visuals. So yeah, it's been like my whole life, I would say. Like, I don't remember a time where I wasn't making videos. That's the crazy part about it. I started making my first videos when I was like probably 12. So this was like 2004 or 5. I would like play with my dad's like tape camcorder and like make little stop motions or like edit family videotapes together into like DVD recaps or just kind of dive in. And but yeah, it's been a long time.
Wait, that's incredible. First of all, you were 12. Wait, how old are you?
30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I freaked out. I thought you were saying like ever since I was born in 2004, and my brain automatically went, "Oh my God."
I mean, nowadays it's not that wouldn't be impossible, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm a 95 baby.
How did you first like get into it professionally? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was like a slow burn over the years because, you know, I feel like any opportunity I had when I was younger to make some sort of other project into a video, I would. I think it started in like middle school where we'd have like a science project where I had to write a paper about, I don't know, photosynthesis or something. And I would ask the teacher like, hey, can I like make a video about this? And they're like, and videos back then weren't really a thing. Like, kids weren't making videos. And they're like, okay, sure. And then I ended up making my first like special effects project where I was like filming my friends in front of a blue background and like keying them out and like making them float around like little molecules. And it was just so rudimentary, but like it would blow everyone away. And I was just like, I just taught myself, you know, it was just fun. So to me, it wasn't like impressive. It was just like, I'm just loving this and I want to do VFX. And so I just taught myself. But it started with that kind of stuff. And then I ended up going to a high school that was kind of like a vocational school, like an academy school. So I had like almost like a major in high school. So freshman year, 2009, I was like, 13 years old. My first semester, I was basically learning like Photoshop out of a textbook. I was learning Illustrator. And I kind of breezed through all that because I had been doing some photo editing like before that. And then I asked the teacher, I'm like, can I teach myself After Effects? It wasn't part of our curriculum. And she's like, sure, like you have the time, why not? So I literally just went on like videocopilot.net and like watched all these tutorials and like taught myself After Effects, freshman year of high school. And I would just like make stuff ever since then. So like that carried on through, we ended up part of that high school program, we had to do an internship our senior year. So I did like, I think it was like 180 hours with like a local video production studio. And I became like his motion graphics guy because he didn't know motion graphics. So like I was doing like Avis Car Rental and like some other corporate clients in the New Jersey area. I was doing videography. I learned Premiere working with him. I had learned Final Cut before that, but I like actually learned Premiere then. So yeah, that was like my first like kind of hands-on experience working like a proper video production job. But before that, I like to tell this backstory of my mom owned a dance studio for many years in New Jersey. So part of that, there was so many like digital media assets that needed to be done as part of like putting on an annual dance recital. There was poster design, there was backdrops, there was like videography and DVDs, there was like document design for registrations and websites. So I kind of became her like digital designer or multimedia person just because it was a family business. And I feel like every year she'd need something more and I would kind of learn how to do it, you know? So one year I was doing like her vector illustrations in like Illustrator to do her t-shirt designs. And then I would like redesign her website, or I would eventually when I got good at videography, I was actually filming her shows and creating all the DVDs to sell to all the students and do camera, you know, cuts of the stage production. And then I would spend hours in Final Cut just cutting it together. So I feel like looking back on it, I almost forget that that was like a lifelong internship in a way.
Yeah.
Even learned how to cut music and stuff too with her. So yeah.
Yeah, that is incredible. So you literally have been doing video production and design and just creative work your entire life.
Kind of, yeah.
My gosh. Was this always the plan? Like you knew from the jump that this is what you wanted to go in?
I remember as far back as like the 5th grade where I was like, you know, they ask you like, what do you want to do when you're older? I'm like, I want to be an animator. I want to work at Pixar.
Wow.
And I didn't do that, but I did actually have an internship at DreamWorks, which was really fun. So I got close.
Listen, yeah. I mean, you weren't that far off, and that amazing dream. I can't even remember what mine was.
Well, what's funny, when I was in the 3rd grade, I wanted to be an architect, even though I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, it just seems cool. I loved art. I loved like making crafty things, or like I was making little pop-up books, or I was making like little flip book animations with like sketch, you know, frame by frame. So there was a handful of things. But yeah, I kind of fell into it. Yeah.
Would you say that the architecture was the original plan ish?
It was like a 3rd grade thought. It wasn't.
It was
like
a 3rd grade thought. Okay, well, it was you know what? Close enough. So as
it
you
was
know,
probably from like art class. I think we did like a blueprint type project or something.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, this is really cool and like technical and like, you know, I'm liking this. And then actually, so the reason that I first discovered animation was there was a show on PBS. It was called Zoom. Funny enough, Zoom is like so synonymous with us now. It was called Zoom, and basically it was kind of like a variety show of like kids doing different things. From they had like their own little pig Latin, and then they had like games, and they had like crafts and whatever. And sometimes they would feature like, I guess, kids in the world doing things. And this kid was doing stop motion animation in his bedroom. And like he was making little characters, he was doing frame by frame with his camera. And I saw this like segment and I was just like enamored. And I was like, I want to figure that out. And I think that's what actually inspired me to make my first like stop motion with like clay and like our tape camcorder and stuff. So yeah, I don't know why that it was like so compelling, but yeah, that's kind of my first thing. And actually, I think I found that clip recently because I was like, I wonder if I can find it. I found it like a year ago. I'd see if I find it again because it was. I was like, wait, I haven't seen this in like 20 years.
Well, you have to save it now. It has to be in your little memory folder.
In my lore.
In your folder on your desktop that has all the stuff. I have a folder on my desktop that's like for affirmations. So if someone like sends me a nice comment or says something nice to me on Slack or you know, something like that, I save everything on my desktop, just a quick screenshot, and I just save it. And every time I feel like I'm having imposter syndrome, I just look at it really quick. Okay, well, as you know, the title of this podcast is called Pretty Poor Decisions, where we kind of talk a lot about life's plot twists and things that, you know, weren't part of the plan before the plot. But it seems like here, your journey has always been the plan. So that kind of defeats, you know, this next segment where we pour one out for the original plan. But you kind of said, you kind of said what for our
my seltzer today.
Your seltzer, yeah. We're not going to actually pour one out. But tell me, what are you drinking today?
Polar black cherry seltzer.
Oh, nice. It's a Trader Joe's brand. What is it?
You know,
Or no?
I think I have another one of the Torrijos. This is Polar,
Polar.
which is pretty good.
Oh, I've never had that. Love it. Well, I'm drinking a Coke Zero. This is the most fun thing I have. And plus, like,
More fun.
yeah, it's okay. There's a Darth Vader on it. I
Okay,
didn't
that's pretty fun. That's
realize.
pretty
That's
fun.
pretty fun.
I
That's
like the
pretty
ones
fun.
with the names on them. Like they have my name on a Coke can. You
They
know.
do have your name.
Yeah.
He will never have my name.
No, it's too unique.
It's too unique. Okay, so now that we are in the poor decisions segment of this podcast, when you were first starting out in your journey, when you were starting to, like, I don't know, whether if you were still in New Jersey doing your internship or officially like working, making money, like what is one of the first like mistakes you've ever made while on the job?
All on the job.
Like something that like gives you PTSD or like something that you learned something super
Yeah.
valuable from.
So the big one that comes to mind, I think, was a little bit into my full-time job, like maybe like 2 years in.
Mhm.
In the beginning, I was kind of just in like a really great position where I was just making social media content and like any idea was good. So I lucked out that like most of my work was received really well, and I kind of like, you know, transitioned into professional life like very quickly. Um, so thankfully, I didn't have any like major like, oh no, I screwed up, you know. But I remember specifically, I was flown out to basically shoot like social media type stills of a pretty well known actor. Maybe like he's like a C-lister, but basically like working at a PR agency. Sometimes we do these collaborations with celebrities to promote brands, or like it would be like a media day, right? They do a bunch of interviews, but then we also do kind of organic content that gets pushed out to the brand pages. And I remember, so it was like basically me and like two other like kind of account people, and I was tasked with just shooting these photos with him. And I felt pretty confident at that point. Um, but as a photographer, I still didn't have like the best legs ever. So I remember going into it and trying to get him to just like smile and like pose, and like I didn't have a very clear direction of what I was going to do, because usually I had my team there, was my producer and director, like helping, and I was on my own. And now, and the account people were kind of busy doing their thing, so I was just like by myself with this actor, and he was just kind of edgy. He wasn't like the nicest person ever, and you could tell he was pretty checked out as to me trying to direct him. And I just immediately felt so insecure, and I was like trying to like get my job done. And we did the shoot. He's like, okay, like I'm out, like bye. Like he very passive aggressively just kind of like left the situation. I was like, okay, I think I got what I need, but like I'm really concerned. And then I remember talking to the team afterwards, like, so how do you feel? Like, did you get everything? And I'm like, I don't know, that good thing. And they're like, well, we have to deliver stuff. And I'm like, I know, I don't know. So I had to look at everything, and I had to do a ton of Photoshop work to like fix it and like make it work. And we did deliver enough of things, but I was like so distraught over that interaction of like
Huh.
this person making me feel super inadequate at like something I've been doing forever, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, is it me? Was it him? Like, I just couldn't really pin it down. And I think I was being pretty hard on myself. But honestly, it gave me this sort of like, um, this newfound, I don't know, direction of like, I think I need to be a stronger director, or like kind of be better at posing and more confident behind the camera. Like, I was really good technically behind the camera, but not good like working with people and like having them pose on camera or doing those type of shoots. So, and it's something I wanted to do. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to spend a ton of time just like getting better at this. So I started like photographing my friends and like my sister and like having them pose and model. And I did that a ton of times, and like ended up kind of shooting some of my favorite portraits over the years. And
Mhm.
after that, like I felt so much more confident, like a year later doing the same type of thing. Like I was like so like on it with like other celebrities or like people we'd work with. I was like, okay, yeah, let's get this angle. Let's get this angle. Okay, can you hold the product this way? Whatever. Let's move the lighting. Like I just felt so more confident. But that was like one of a bigger like kind of career moment where I was like, okay, I need to take a step back. You know, whether or not it was my fault or not,
Mhm.
like I could have been more confident in this situation to say like, no, we need this, and you're working for us, so like let's get this done.
Mhm.
And I think it was a matter of like, for a while anything I was doing was kind of praised, and in this situation, I was like, wait, no, I need to learn something new. Like I need to like brush up on a skill here. And I did, so I think that was just a good learning experience and something I definitely remember of like, wait, like, am I good enough to be flown out and like, and to lead this kind of thing? Like, I want to be able to do that. But like, in that situation, I felt like I was so underqualified. So yeah.
But then you got better
But
after.
then I got
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that was like your very first time doing something like that, or?
Probably not the first. It's like the most thing that comes to mind. I feel like, everything that I did up until that from like school and like little
Mhm.
jobs, it was just all like little learning experiences. I think you always have like, especially as a freelancer, you have your crappy clients that like drive you
Yeah.
nuts. And like there was one in college, it was another student who was doing like a startup project, and he was referred to me through another friend to basically edit like a motion design heavy launch video for a startup. It was like a pitch competition. He had like no money, obviously. It was like maybe like $200, and the amount of revisions and the amount of like headache, it was just, I literally remember screaming in my pillow. Like I was so over it. I was like, please let this project be over. So you get your fair share of projects like that where you're like, why am I doing this? I remember asking him later, like too, I was like, oh, like the stock music track is like cost like $50. He's like, oh, we didn't talk about that. I think I ate the cost of the stock music. Like just stuff like that where I'm like, I'm at a loss here.
Wait, you paid for that entire project, or like it cost more than how much
I
you
know
had
I probably
paid?
just made like $150 for like 2 weeks worth of work
That's
as like a
insane.
college senior.
For VFX? I mean, to be fair, when you're a college senior, you just see
Yeah.
money and you're like, "Yay, money."
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
wow. Oh my gosh. Do you have any other like stories like that in college when you were kind of just accepting projects just to scrape by?
Um, I was also an event videographer for the school's like main marketing department,
Mhm.
and that was really great most of the time. Except like sometimes, like we'd like me and my roommate would sleep really late because we were
Yeah.
working like vampire hours. I
Mm.
think one time we just like missed an event. And we were like slightly reprimanded for just not shooting like homecoming or something.
Wait, stop. You slept through the event.
We slept through the beginning, and then
The
we like
beginning.
came after the football game ended to just get like other stuff. And they're like, yeah, we really should have gotten homecoming. I was like, sorry, like we slept through it.
Oh no. Wait, this was
So
in college? High school?
yeah, but that was probably
College.
like the worst. I think we were pretty good and generally pretty responsible.
Yeah. Yeah, after I'm sure
And
after
then
that
after that, you're
moment.
like, okay, we're not gonna miss another event.
Yeah.
That was the only
That's
time I think we missed
insane.
anything.
No, honestly, I feel like, I mean, I can't compare, but there are some, I have definitely slept through some meetings because I had like a late night. I'm gonna be so honest, it almost happened today. I had a 7:30 a.m. meeting today. I'm in Pacific
Yeah,
time, by the way. I was up till 3 a.m. editing for this podcast, and I was just like, gotta get it done, And when
yeah.
you're in that
That's how I
flow,
feel. I was up till whoever knows what time last night.
yeah, yeah. It's like two things. It's one, you got to get it done, and then two, you're like in the creative
But
flow.
yeah,
You
you
don't
can't
want to
break the
stop.
focus. Yeah.
Exactly. So you keep going until like your eyes get heavy. So, yeah. And then you pay for it the next day.
Literally. No, like what happened was later in my working full time, they were still in New York and I was in LA. Like a lot of times I just wake up so late that I would check in meeting be like 11 a.m. my time, but like 3 p.m. their time. So like it wasn't working out over the years because I was basically checking in when they were wrapping up work, but I'm still like full time with that team.
Yeah.
So, I was pretty like uh independent at that point, like just kind of churning out what I needed to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, anytime we have a meeting, it's like, hey Ryan, can you go up at like 7 a.m.? I'm like, I'm
No.
like going to bed at 4, but it was like my fault, right? So like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay,
but
wait.
yeah, no,
So,
breaking that focus is so hard. And honestly, it's
yeah.
like probably the biggest challenge I deal with right now is like trying to have like a normal, daytime schedule, but then also like being an editor and freelancer with like no one really managing your schedule. And then it very quickly can end up you're going to bed at 7 a.m. Like,
I'm so glad that you said this and that it's a universal experience in the
yeah.
creator world
For people that
because,
don't understand, they're
yeah,
like, how are you going to bed at like 6 in the morning? I'm like, well, I'm sleeping until like 2, like, because no one needs me during the day. So
exactly. Exactly. And like you're like filming and doing stuff during the day. The only time you're not bothered is typically at night. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
when everything like you can actually focus for more than half an
mm-hmm.
hour.
Yeah. Wait, so are you more so is it safe to say you're a night owl?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my mornings, my brain does not function. Like I just if I'm trying to be like creative and like actually execute on something, like it has to be either something that I'm just finishing that I can quickly get snap back into where I left off. It can't be like a new thing. There's no way. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just I need hours for my brain to like wake up mentally. It's just I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And I don't know if I
Yeah.
can reset that or not. Maybe I can become a morning person one day,
Yeah.
but like it's so hard. Oh my God.
It really is. Like I went through that phase of trying to be a morning person, like up by 5 a.m., going to the gym and all that stuff. Like I hated my life. I mean, I productive? Did I have more hours in my day? Yes. But
Well,
I
is it
was
really more hours or just different hours?
that is a great question because
Because
I still
everyone's
be
like,
staying up
Ryan, like
late.
you'd have more like hours. I'm like, I have the same amount of hours. I'm just like, I shift it, you know?
Yeah, it's just going into the morning the next day.
I don't know how healthy not have seeing daylight for half the day is, but you know,
Oh my god, do you live in like one of those bat caves? Like you don't
my room, I blacked out like to go to bed. Like I literally like covered the edges of my window with something just so it's fully dark.
Wait. So you have blackout curtains mainly to help you sleep or just
Yeah.
because you like it?
But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so that I can sleep during the day. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? That'll do it. Like, I used to have blackout curtains in the last place I lived in. I couldn't tell what time of day it was,
It's
and I
like
was
being
just sleepy the
in
whole
a
day.
casino in Vegas or something.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise and you get one of those. Okay, if you buy economy on a cruise, you ain't getting windows. You getting mirrors.
So you guys have no idea.
You're getting pictures of the outside.
Yeah.
And all that to say, blackout curtains and stuff, I don't know what time of day it is.
I mean, our old office, I used to live in like we kind of a bit of a creator house. So it was a bunch of editors, and we literally had our main office was like a pretty big room, and we had like blackout curtains everywhere. Like we could fully block it out during the day, so we can actually like just go crazy vampire during the day. So it's the only
That's so
way. But then
funny.
okay, but then I look at um like when I worked at DreamWorks, like all the production offices, the animators, it's all in the dark, just like lamps and like bias lighting
Hmm.
and stuff. Like it is that's like the studio environment too. Like there's no light when they're
Yeah,
trying to focus. So I get it.
that's true. That's true. So, okay, so you said you lived in New Jersey. When did you make the move to LA? Was that for DreamWorks?
4 years ago. So I came out to LA for DreamWorks in 2016 just for the summer. So like 3 months, and then I went back to Jersey to finish my senior year of college, and then I suppose I could have come out back out and gotten a job, but at that point I was like not really ready to move to LA again. Um, my whole base is in Jersey, my family, my friends, like everyone. So I started mostly just looking for jobs in New York, and then applying to a few and not having too much luck. Like it was sort of the spray and pray, like just apply to a ton of LinkedIn things and not
Hmm.
really getting anything back. And I had applied for this job at a PR agency. It was basically an in-house like content producer,
Hmm.
and hadn't heard anything. And then I was at my senior thesis like presentation. It was Q&A with some alumni and stuff. I remember my dad was like, have you considered PR? Because one of the kids worked at a PR agency. And I was like, I think so. Because I was mostly looking at commercial houses or ad agencies or motion design studios. Um, and he's like, have you considered PR? And I'm like, I think I actually applied to a PR agency. And I mentioned it. He's like, oh, I know somebody there. I'm like, oh. And we connected the dots and whatever. So I ended up getting in touch directly with the creative director, who's like, "Oh yeah, I have your application. Okay, yeah, we'll give you an interview." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great."
Wow.
So I went in and did like two interviews, and after the second one, like I could tell that they were vibing with me and vice versa. And even before that, the same day, I had an interview with like I think it was like I don't know if it was an architecture firm. It was maybe like I don't know what it was. A law office? I don't know. But they
Okay.
needed an in-house videographer, but it was totally not a fit. And I remember going and like they were questioning like certain things about what I can do. And I had all this work to show them. And like you could tell there was already a lack of trust. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay. And then I had this interview with where I ended up working, and like it was already like they loved me. And I was like, okay, like I feel so much different coming out of that. And
Hmm.
then I was working there like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later. So um it was quick.
Wow.
And then I was there 7 years. So
Yeah. And this PR firm, right? It was a PR firm. They're based in New York? or they're
Primarily,
this?
yeah, headquarters
Oh,
there, but
okay,
they
okay,
had
okay.
some LA office and other places.
Oh, okay.
But basically, I was commuting from New Jersey to New York for about 2.5 years. COVID hits, and then I'm now working remotely in Jersey. And then during COVID, May of 2020, I stumble upon it's a Zoom call that's sort of like a co-working space. I mean, a lot of those kind of popped up during COVID, and it was from my friend Cash Bunny, who like I'd been following. She posted about this, and I popped in like kind of day one. There was like a ton of people already on this call, and I instantly just like got addicted to it, and so did everyone else there. So we were basically all on this digital hangout space, co-working, and also like going crazy partying at night, the heat of COVID, for like a year and a half. And
Mm-hmm.
then she basically reached out to me and a few other people and was like, "Do you guys want to like get a house in LA? Because I'm already out here, and like, you know, we've kind of joked about this, but like, would it be a thing?" And I was like, honestly, sounds pretty great. So it was me and a guy from Colorado and a guy from Canada and someone other friend who was in LA, and we got this house in Mid City, and we were there for 3 years, and that was like the reason I moved to LA. So I'd asked my PR job, I was like, "Hey, like, I met these new people, like I might consider moving to LA. Can I like take the job with me remotely? I'm already remote anyway." And they were like, "Yeah." Um, so I took my job remote, and I was remote for about 3 years until last September.
Wow, how fun. Oh my God. Honestly, I feel like that's a lot of like creatives' dreams. I don't know, maybe speaking for myself, but to do the whole creator house thing. That was
It was really
definitely,
cool, especially like being
yeah.
in a having like a shared office and like doing projects together, and
Yeah.
sometimes we'd hire each other, sometimes it was just working on things and like kind of vibing and like putting music. We had a projector screen, we had like shared like TV streams, we had a
Yeah.
DJ set up, like there's so many just creative juices flowing all the time. We'd have people kind of visit, and like if anyone like a new creator was in town that somebody knew, they'd pop by and we'd all meet each other, we'd have little parties, whatever. So there was a
Mhm.
lot of just great moments. Yeah.
Yeah, would you say that's kind of how you started making a lot of friends in the industry, like just through this creator
100%.
house?
Yeah,
Mhm.
before that, like I can't say I knew anyone in the influencer or creator space at all. Like to me, like having followers was like a celebrity thing. Like I didn't comprehend the fact that like you could be friends with people that do that. So that's, you know, working in like a professional industry in New Jersey where like not there's not a lot of influencers in New Jersey. Um, so popping on this sort of community and like meeting people right off the bat that like were doing this professionally, I was like, oh, like everyone's normal and like cool, right? So then once I moved to LA and started meeting all these mutual friends, I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm part of this creator community already. And I went from like nothing, you know, um, and it was just really, really cool. And then I'm an extrovert. I love networking. I love meeting people. So like, it was always so fun, like having people pop by or like hosting parties or whatever, and just kind of growing the network. And it wasn't just in LA, like the Zoom call also grew over time too, to
Mhm.
people. We had like 80 countries at some point, and we'd have
Whoa.
virtual music festivals. We had DJs kind of stream in for 30 hours. We did them annually. It would be a whole production. Um, that was really cool. And then I ended up like once, you know, everyone was traveling again, whatever, I ended up traveling worldwide to meet my virtual friends from the Zoom call. We had a Bali meetup where we had people like 15 people in an Airbnb from like, you know, that side of the world. And then I went to Europe in 2023 and met some of my closest friends that I became friends with digitally, and like in Germany. And we had a big meetup in Brussels, and then we went to Paris and Amsterdam. So we just had like big groups of people that had never met each other in person,
Mhm.
traveling together. So I love that now. And I just love going to places and like meeting people that I have been friends with online. I was just in
Yeah.
Canada meeting some friends there. So
Yeah, no, that's really amazing, and I had a similar experience to being a streamer. The height of COVID, I was playing GTA RP, and so I met a lot of people through that game that were all over the states and out of the country, and then luckily for my job now, I do get to travel and hit some of
yeah.
those states, so it was just really cool to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in this area, anyone wanna hang out?" And then we would all, like, congregate and just meet up and hang out, grab a bite to eat or something like that. So honestly, the internet is amazing for
It's
that.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So do you have any like wild like stories or anything that happens like whether in your creator house or when you're hosting these events or any crazy travel stories?
I got really sick in Bali when I was there.
Oh, do tell. What happened?
I got what's called the Bali belly. At least I'm pretty sure I got that. It's
Mhm.
some kind of like stomach poison, or you know, I guess if you're not used to the water. So I was there for like maybe 7 or 8 days, and like at least most of our meetup and most big chunk of people that in the beginning. And then all of a sudden I started really feeling really nauseous and sick. And then I ended up being like laid out on my bed for like 4 days with like the worst nausea, the worst headache ever. I ended up having to go to like their local little hospital and get like an IV drip and like anti-nausea and all this stuff. And I felt pretty good after that, but oh my God, it was awful. And I had to extend my trip from 2 weeks to like 18 days. So I was just in Bali for like 18 days. But thankfully, one of my best friends lives in Indonesia. So she was like my local guide.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done without her. And it's crazy. So, but I felt like I
That's
was like missing
crazy.
out on a few things because I was like just stuck in bed.
Oh.
And I was just on the other side of the world with just like, people that I was friends with
Yeah.
that I sort of met recently. So it's just, you never can prepare for those kinds of things happening.
Yeah. So was this like in the midst of the trip? It wasn't like you got sick after or
I
before.
was in the
Like,
middle of the trip. I was like in Bali in
no.
the Airbnb. Yeah.
So you had to miss a lot of stuff and
Handful of
hangouts.
things.
A
Yeah.
handful of things. Okay. Well, at least you got to enjoy even just a little bit.
Yeah. And then honestly, like a lot of people were staying like for like the whole month. So
Oh, okay.
having extra time anyway was kind of nice.
Okay.
So honestly, it kind of worked out like logistically because I had a place to stay. It wasn't like I had to like find a new spot, whatever. Like we had the house for a month. I just was only planning on spending 2 weeks there. So
Got it.
besides paying like $800 to change the flight, like it wasn't too bad,
Yeah. Do you have any like helpful travel tips in that situation?
Good question.
Or
It
from
definitely
anywhere
helped that
you've
I
been?
had basically packed a CVS worth of American pharmaceutical drugs. Like I had like every like headache, cough medicine. Because I kind of tend to get sick on trips, so I was like prepared at least, and thankfully that came in handy. So it got me through most of it. But that was pretty extreme. I did my best.
Yeah.
And stay hydrated. I guess I was having their local Gatorade. It's called like Pocari Sweat.
Pocari Sweat?
Yeah, it's like a local like energy or Gatorade type drink in like Asia.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that. I have a lot of like flight hacks outside of.
Okay, what are the flight hacks? Let us tell the class.
I started bringing like my whole bag of food because you're allowed to bring food through TSA, just not drinks, and most people don't know that. So like I'll bring like my own salad or like a sandwich or whatever, and just like it's so much cheaper than buying airport food. And then I'll just carry a separate bag of all my snacks and like have meals on the flight. Because now on flights, unless you pay, they give you like a snack, like 2 pretzels for 6 hours.
Don't get me started on those pretzels. I know which airline you're talking about. Every time they say, "Would you like a snack?" they'll be like salty or sweet. And the salty is the pretzels and the sweet is the little Biscoff cookies. But I'm like,
it's like I want more than that.
Those pretzels mess me up. I hate what are they even called? Pretzel chips? Pretzel whatever? I hate those. Know. Those dry out my mouth so fast.
And then you're on a plane and it's like you're already dried out to begin with.
Yeah. So. Oh my gosh. So yes, that is a hack. I have started bringing a lot more snacks on my flight. But yeah, like you said, not a lot of people know exactly that they can bring food.
Yeah.
And I'm also just like scared that like they're gonna take a look at this and be like drugs.
Well, I was just traveling like back to Canada and back and forth, and I would like cross check with TSA. I'm like, can I bring X, Y, Z? Because I'd buy like fruit there, like oranges. I know certain things you can't bring across, and they let me bring like apples across the border. Like, oh, it has a label on it. Yeah, you're good. I'm like, okay. So I'll just ask. But like, so if I have to toss stuff, I just toss stuff. But like, I've gotten pretty good at knowing like what's good. TSA pre-check is worth $85 if you can do it. That's always saved me a ton of time.
Do you have any not horror, but like worst travel stories?
Thankfully I've had a decent track record. I'm pretty lucky, knock on whatever this is.
Knock on wood.
Knock on linoleum. But a few delays here and there.
I've had one. It wasn't too bad when I think back to it, but I am forever traumatized going to DC, that airport. I feel like every time, even though I've only been there once, both times at the airport in DC, it's just been horrible. I don't know what is at the DC airport, but it's just bad juju.
Thankfully, I haven't flown there ever.
Don't go to like a different flight to Virginia. Do something
anywhere else. Well, usually I just drive down from Jersey to DC.
Well,
so
that too. That's very close.
Right. That's why I haven't flown there. Like I haven't needed to fly there.
Yeah. But what basically happened on my trip is this was for vacation, not for work. I had to do a connecting flight. I used to live in San Jose when I went. And so I had to, it's a smaller airport. I had to do the connecting flight. And so I went from San Jose to, oh my God, LAX, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I missed my connecting flight by 2 seconds.
No.
2 seconds. Like they just
Yeah.
closed the gate. And luckily, thank God, I had one person with me who was sitting next to me, and he was flying also to DC. No, just kidding. Not DC. I lied. This is not the DC trip. I'm mixing it up. This is to Omaha, Nebraska. I still think DC's terrible, but this is to Omaha, Nebraska. Even more.
Who's flying to Omaha, Nebraska?
I don't know. I don't know. It was me and one other person. I remember because the dude. Okay, so me and him, we're pretty sad, but they're like, okay, we can get you on like a different flight, but you have to go to Chicago. And we're like, oh fuck. Okay, so we go to the bar, we have a drink, and like whatever, we're just chatting, life stories. What are you here for? Blah blah blah. And then there was a lady at this bar that like comes up to us and she starts talking to us, and we're looking at her like what the fuck. And then it turns out this whole time she was just like, oh, like, so how do you two know each other? Are you guys like married? And I was like, oh, this guy's okay. For context, this is a really old, not really old, but he's like a middle-aged 60-year-old, probably like white man.
Like visually quite older than you.
Very, very visually quite older than me. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. But it looked like I was being trafficked. like sitting next to
This is your podcast.
I know. Like we just wouldn't look like we would have any sort of relationship. Anyways, so we were just like, no, like we're just here chilling. We got stranded on the same flight. So anyways, whatever. She leaves us alone, thank fucking God. And then we go to Chicago and we're like, okay, great. Awesome. We make it to Chicago, and then the last flight to Omaha. This is already like 9 p.m. And I'm just like, okay, we're going. And then they're like, delayed. And I was like, no, please. And then so it's like an hour and a half delayed. Thankfully, though, like it did not. I prayed to the gods that night. I was like, please don't cancel this flight. And then but yeah, no, we ended up getting out of Chicago like around 11, and I don't get to Omaha till like 1. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if there's any Ubers in Omaha, Nebraska at this time.
Morning, yeah.
So, but luckily the guy who I was sitting with, he was originally from Omaha, so he had his car parked at the airport, and he actually took me, which was also a very, very risky move because stranger
True.
danger.
Although
but at
you
the same
spent
time,
a lot of time with him at this point.
Yeah, I had no other
Embedded.
options. He flew.
Yeah.
He has a paper trail on him now.
Right.
So if
anyone that's flying is like,
yeah.
At least they got through TSA, you know.
Yeah.
They weren't flagged.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. So whatever. I let him take me to the hotel, and that's how I made a friend.
This reminds
Omaha,
so I do have a
Nebraska.
bad TSA story where I was we were in El Salvador for a big job, and so I had like my camera gear, my roller and everything. And we were passing through Dallas, I think.
Wow.
And back to LA. So I get to Dallas, and you go to the immigration because you're coming back into the US basically. And they're like, oh, business or pleasure. And I made the mistake of saying business, which because technically it was business, but I was, I'm working for an American company. Like I'm bringing my cameras there, filming and coming back. Like I'm not getting paid by someone locally or making business deals, whatever. So I say business because I'm all excited. I did this job. And of course, like that immediately sets an alarm bell off where they're like, business, like what kind of business? Da, 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 da. And then I was like trying to backtrack. I'm like, oh no, I totally messed up here. And I'm like, oh, like, I'm a photographer. Like it was just an event. And he's like, well, do you have camera gear? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm a camera gear. He's like, well, how much is it? Like I'm like downplaying how much it costs because I have like multiple camera bodies and like lenses and stuff, which is probably like 10 grand worth.
But you don't want to say that.
But I'm like, it's like, maybe like 2,000-3,000, like just like my camera, whatever. And he's like, well, I have to check that out. Da, da, da. And I didn't know why, but ultimately it's because like I could have bought the cameras there and they want to import tax me on it.
Yeah.
They don't know that I brought it out of the country back in. So then I go to like another holding room and I'm like held for a while, and I'm like, and I have a connecting flight back to LA. And my check bag is already like being sent to somewhere else. And
It's
this is now
getting on
my
the flight,
carry-on.
right?
And all 4 of my other team members have already gone through. And I think they picked up my bag for me. So I get to this holding room and I'm like there and there and there. And then they're like, oh, like, is your bag and checked, whatever. I'm like, well, I think my partners have gotten my bag. They're like, you think? And I'm like, no, I know for sure. Because I wasn't supposed to text in there either. And I'm like kind of texting. So I'm like, am I supposed to say that I'm like using my phone? So I'm like, they're like, oh, you're for sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm for sure they have my bag. They're like, okay. So like that was whatever. I go through they expedite me to go through the search, whatever. And the guy was so much nicer. And I was like, at that point, I was really downplaying that I had originally said business. So I
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm just like I'm a hobbyist photographer. There was like an event. Like this is my gear. I promise it's my gear. Like it's all whatever. And he's like, well, do you have the receipts? And I'm like, I don't. So
Like, I got this 10 years ago. Like,
like,
okay.
yeah, so I didn't have anything. And he's like, okay, like, because I was really frazzled. And ultimately, I think he saw that, and he's like, okay, well, like this, just next time you have to fill out this document that like shows the serial numbers and stuff, so that when you're coming back, like it proves that you already own this stuff. And I was like, okay, thank you so much, and then I bolt out of there. I rush to the gate because I'm like, I'm gonna miss my connecting flight, and then they delayed that flight anyway, so I was fine. But like, it was so stressful. I had never felt more anxiety at an airport, and now every time I go through immigration, like I was going to Canada back, I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna like pull me apart and like what are they gonna say? You know
No.
what I mean?
Yeah, because the questioning can take anywhere from like 5-10 minutes to like a whole
It was a
hour.
while. At least I was in there for at least half an hour. Like,
Oh my.
and but I didn't know. That never happened to me. So I was just like, am I going to like airport jail? Like, am I like missing my flight? Like, are they
Yeah.
gonna take my gear? Like, I didn't know what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
yeah,
god. Wait. Oh my. Wait. Which airport was this? Did it
I think
happen?
Dallas
It happened in Dallas, and you were coming from out of the country,
from El Salvador.
from El Salvador. Got it. Got it. Got it.
So
Okay.
I mean, coming from middle to South America, and they're probably like, "What kind of business are you doing?" And me saying
Yeah.
business was like, "You're doing business in El Salvador? Like, what are you doing?" Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
that was like, "What are you doing?" In
Yeah.
Texas, of all places, they're gonna be like high alert.
But like, what else are you supposed to say? You were there for work, right? That you were kind of telling the truth.
I was telling the truth ultimately, but like I wasn't technically being paid by a company that's based in El Salvador. It was an
Mm.
American production company that we were traveling there and then coming
On
back.
like just to be on
We were just on
location,
location. Yeah.
but it's not for anything in El Salvador. Got it. You know, I feel like with airports, especially when it comes to like not just immigration, but like just any sort of questioning at the airport. Maybe it is mostly immigration where you get questioned, but I feel like there's just so that's the point in my mind where I start to like overthink the questions a little bit. Like their questions could mean anything
Well,
because
because you know
I
what their motive is, like,
exactly because I also think about the times when I go to Canada for work and they would ask me the same thing like what are you here for and I was like oh I'm here for work working events. I don't think anything of
But
it.
yeah, but that's a red flag. You can't because they think you're just doing business locally and you
Isn't
don't have
that
a visa for it.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So
Well, I
are
was
you,
just in Canada for the first time in
yeah.
May, and I got pulled in for secondary questioning. But
Uh-huh.
he was very nice. I mean, Canadians are notoriously nice.
Canadians, very nice.
But when I got there, I was there for a vacation. I wasn't even there for work. I was meeting a friend there, and he's like, "Oh, what are you here for?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm like, just personal travel." And then I already
Mhm.
gave him too much information because I said I was flying to Calgary and then I was leaving from Vancouver. And he's like, "Oh, well, how are you getting from point A to point B?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm like, we're driving." And he's like, "Is your first time in Canada?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, well," he like put a note on my thing and he sent me through and I was like, "Okay, I'm good." And then they pulled me in for secondary, like a second check.
Oh
And I'm like, "Oh no,"
god.
I'm like freaking out again. Like, what did I say? What did I do? And then the guy's just sort of like, "Yeah, so like, do you have an itinerary of like where you're going? Because like you said this is your first time here and you're driving through for like 20 hours." And I'm like, yeah, no, I have like every Airbnb stop and everything. He's like, okay, good. Cause like, that's the only reason I wanted to flag you was because like you'd be surprised the amount of people that are coming through and they say like, oh, we're just going to drive. And they get lost in the woods or whatever. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm by the books. Like, I'm not very adventurous and
Yeah.
outdoorsy. Like I have a particular spot. And I said, I'm
Yeah.
meeting my friend who's from Germany and she's doing a PhD study in Calgary. And he's like, okay, what's her name? What's her number?
Uh-oh. Now you dragging your friend in it.
I'm like, she didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, and then she's flying back to the States with you? I'm like, no, she's flying back to Calgary and then back to Germany. He's like, oh, okay. So
Oh,
like now I'm like so on edge with immigration. Oh, and then I was there again in Montreal a couple weeks ago, but I had my
fun.
parents with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, make sure you're with me in the group so it's family. It's like it's not just like the solo guy just randomly
Yeah.
entering Canada. And that there was no problem that way. But they still like marked my sheet differently than my parents for some reason.
You
And
have a
then
record now.
I'm like, oh no, like this guy's trying to get to Canada too often.
Wow. Okay. So the moral of the story is don't tell immigration you're doing business,
Just tell
and
them less. Tell
tell them
them like
less.
the bare minimum, but truthfully.
Yes. And
Let them
yeah,
ask the questions.
truthfully bare minimum, yes. And also
Yeah,
don't travel with Ryan. Because
guess
he
not.
will get you stopped.
Yeah.
That's all I got from this segment. Oh
I'm
man.
too honest where I'm like, oh yeah, like here's everything I'm doing. I'm so excited. But it's like, no, just like plead the fifth a little bit.
Dude, yeah, honestly, I am the same way. I tend to overshare sometimes too, especially when you're nervous. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
It's
Because you're
so
like, no,
easy.
I'm an honest person. Like I'm not trying to break any rules. And then ultimately they think you're trying to hide something because you're being too honest. And it's like, no, like I'm literally just so innocent here.
So, comparing LA to Jersey, I'm not going to ask you which do you like more because I'm sure it's both. You know, both places are special. But probably what was like the biggest culture shock to you when you first came to LA?
I would say I feel like it's funny with like the weather is obviously very great and constant, but
Mhm.
like that was honestly kind of shocking to me when it came around summertime. And in Jersey, like the summertime like is the best time of year, obviously. Like you want to go to the beach every weekend, like that time is limited, so you want to make the most of it. There's barbecues and parties and like events and whatever. And coming to LA, like I feel like no one in my circle had a sense of summer urgency because like there's always summer here basically. So I was like really kind of depressed about it. I was like, why is no one wanting to do anything? Like,
Mhm.
like I was expecting that it's like, oh my God, it's summer. We're going to do, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, that didn't happen. So I was like kind of bored the first summer at least. And
Mhm.
then, the second summer, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to use the summer to travel and like get out of LA and like come visit home or like go somewhere else. And, and started kind of venturing out and doing more of my own things and finding activities and things like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was one of the big shocks.
Do you think that living in LA brought you more opportunities in the creator space? I know we talked a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit about networking and like meeting more people in the industry, but besides that, like I feel like a lot of people move to LA to be in film and TV. Would you say like that stereotype is kind of true?
Yes, for sure. But also like I'm not really in film and TV. I'm like in advertising and social media. So like that's been so internet driven.
Mhm.
And I feel like yes, I have a fantastic like network and base as a result of being in LA, but like most of my requests are coming from like Instagram and like my email, and now
Mm.
it's sort of location unspecific. Like I could technically be anywhere at this point.
Mhm.
But like yeah, having the base here was I think very very helpful to be like just kind of really a part of the creator community because so many artists are here. And ultimately, like living in a creator house was like the big jumping point. Like if I came to LA by myself, I don't know what that trajectory would have looked like if I would have met the same amount of people or fell in the same community. Like it definitely like 80% of it was a result of being in one is an online Zoom community of a lot of other creatives, and then two, like ended up being in a literal house with them, and then mutuals upon mutuals of networking became just part of my circle.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, now that I'm no longer in that situation, and I do live with one person from that house, but um, that network is there, but it's like so like Instagram heavy, like that's where the network exists. And so I have that, but then at the same time I also like attend a lot of different creator events. Like I'm always looking for local networking events. I've kind of met people in the motion design world on the commercial side. I've met people on the VFX side. Gone to like trade shows like NAB or CES, and I've met a lot of people that way. Met like company representatives doing that. So I just love like in-person events.
Mhm.
I've come to a lot of Adobe things, so I found that those types of things don't get me like direct jobs per se, but it just builds the network and it helps me just sort of like know a lot more people because then you never know who's going to connect the dots back to you or vice versa. And I
Yeah.
feel like lately I've been able to like find people like love posting and quick job requests on Instagram, or like I need a video for this or I need a VFX person for this. And I've been half my work has been come from just people sending me stories of like, oh, talk to this person, like, or you have mutuals with this person. Like, it's just that sort of like day by day social media networking has helped my business quite a bit. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I can say that I definitely have forwarded some of your stuff to like people that I know,
well, thank you.
and stuff.
Thank you.
Like I think there was when I messaged you that one time about you using AI to help with your After Effects script errors and stuff. I thought that was so fascinating, and not gonna lie, I did forward it to my team. Be like, this is a very interesting workflow or use case with like a creative using AI to help. Because I'm in that space where we're starting to think about how creatives like yourself are using AI in their work.
Right.
So
obviously it's a major topic conversation. I've been using I've been vibe coding scripts for the
vibe
past
code. Okay, can you tell me what vibe coding is? Because I hear it all the time. I think I know what it is, but I feel like I don't know the whole picture.
The short answer is it's just using AI to code for you if you don't know how to code.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do know how to code, it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and then you're going and editing it. So the idea is that you're giving it an idea, a vibe, and you're letting it just sort of like go crazy doing its thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it means. Where it originated, I just watched I don't know if you're familiar with Sarah Dietschy. She's like a tech YouTuber. So she just did a whole like 40-minute video about vibe coding a website from scratch.
Whoa.
And she like literally dug deep of like, where did this come from? Apparently it was like I think like a SpaceX or like someone in the Elon Musk hemisphere who like tweeted one time like, everyone's AI for coding is like the new wave, it's just vibes.
Yeah.
And like somehow that tweet like turned into everyone calling it vibe coding.
Oh my god. Okay. I was just wondering, I was like,
I didn't know
is
either
vibe
until
coding?
I saw Sarah's video.
Yeah, I was like, which Gen Z made this happen?
I know. So I've been using that, and I feel like obviously it's been getting better over the years where I would use like early versions of ChatGPT to make some very basic After Effects scripts. It would take me so long to like, go back and forth, be like, oh, this is not working. It's not working. Like try again. Eventually I'd get to something usable. Now it's like, it's one-shotting stuff. Like it's especially Gemini is really good. ChatGPT 5 has gotten a bit better. Where especially if it's like a simple script, like, oh, I need something to apply XYZ expression across multiple things. Like it's one-shotting it. And what's cool is like, I feel like I have a good kind of design intuition to know what I want, but I don't know actually how to create it. So I'll be like, okay, like I want a script with like 4 boxes or 4 buttons. One is this, and then one does a version of that, or one does XYZ. And then it actually like does understand that layout on what I want. And then what's cool is now is when I make different scripts, I've now gave it multiple files of like my script files and said, okay, can you actually combine this into one and then like lay it out like, group 1, group 2, group 3. And I have like a Ryan Laux tools now, like a vibe coded panel of all my custom shortcuts that I've made. So that's been cool. So I'm like, okay, now it's like, I want to make this tool. Like I can just code it. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And did you have to learn, did you know coding before all this, or you just...
No.
Wow.
I mean, I took a class in college, but I was so bad at it.
What is the craziest thing you've ever made with ChatGPT and After Effects?
I did just spend like 7 hours the other night trying to make something. It kind of failed.
Okay. Tell us about it.
But basically, when I'm using a 360 camera, the software that it comes with, there is a really good tracking algorithm to do like kind of face tracking or whatever. And I find that like using the built-in After Effects stabilizer or like Mocha or something could be a bit slower. So I want to be able to translate the tracking data from the software into After Effects. So I basically spent like so many hours and I got trying to convert that data into keyframes.
Oh.
And I went as far as like diving into like database files of like the 360 software and I brought them into ChatGPT, like converted into like a JSON file from a database file. Then it was like, I was like, okay, make an After Effects script that's going to read that and convert it to keyframes. And it actually did do it.
Wow.
I had a whole keyframe graph, but it just wasn't like the right data to do what I wanted. So technically it was working, but it was just such a rabbit hole. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't think this is possible.
7 hours of work, you had to see it through.
It was more exploratory. I was like, can I get this to work? Trying to find really random solutions to very niche problems. But yeah.
Would you say you spend a lot of your time nowadays just exploring, trying new things, or do you tend to still stick to more of like what you know?
I feel like Mostly it's sticking to what I know, but then like very small iterations depending on projects.
Mm-hmm.
Either someone will come to me with a particular like VFX challenge, and I'm like, I think I know how to do that. And then, and during the process of doing it, I will find ways to automate repetitive tasks or things are taking too
Mm-hmm.
long or whatever. Like I've gotten really good at like eye tracking now because I'll
Wow.
use like, instead of using the face tracker, it can be a little
Yeah.
inaccurate. I'll use like lockdown, then I'll get 2D nulls or 3D nulls, then I'll convert those into 2D nulls and then use that for stabilization, right? Those kinds of things where it's like, okay, here's a challenge. I could do it the manual way, then let me figure out a way to make it faster. I love automating. And then on top of that, it's like when I'm doing jobs that are more creatives coming from me, then kind of the same thing where it's like, okay, I have a working knowledge of like how I think I can execute this, but let me just try it. And then either to kind of fail or it works great. And I think some of my later work that's really cool that I love has come from that sort of exploratory, like, okay, I have an idea. I think this is going to be the way to do it, but I've never tried it. So let's just try it and see what happens. Then it ends up working great.
Yeah.
So
Can you tell a story about a happy little accident that happened and it ended up coming out really cool?
I have a video of this, like, this technique I came up with that it's not the newest thing ever, but it's basically like throwing like a bottle or a can across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like 2 or 3 years ago that I had done the technique kind of first with like a volleyball and like at a resort. And I spent many hours like doing that piece. And then I was on an event job where we were at a bar and we wanted to, like, the product was like a handle, like a bottle. And we were like, oh, what if I like try to do that effect here? But we have like 6 hours to get it done because it's an overnight edit. So I'm like, how can I do this like really quickly? So I didn't have time for CG or to figure out that, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I know stop motion and I know roto and I know like cutting things out. So let me just quickly set up my camera tripod and get like a stop motion of the bottle spinning on the bar, the lighting all matched, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, I do like 360 hyperlapses. Let me just walk across my 360 camera. Then I can like choose later what the background will be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that. And then, I'm working with the director and I'm like, okay, I think this is going to work great, but I don't know because we're going to see what happens. So we're going to post and I spend like maybe an hour doing it and I love it. And then it ends up in the video and it's just like a cool thing we did. And then I posted a story very quickly breaking down the technique. I never posted it as a reel, whatever. And then last February, I posted it as a trial reel just to be like, oh, let me just try this new feature.
Okay.
And it ends up like blowing up overnight.
What?
And
Okay.
this one breakdown like goes everywhere. Like it was on Adobe Live. It was on it did like 2 million views on my Instagram. It got me like 20,000 followers.
Wait, what
Just
was
from
this?
this one very basic breakdown that I was like showing the process, but like I was like filming my screen on my phone like this. Like it wasn't even professionally done at all, which annoyed me because I was like, no, I want the good looking BTS breakdowns to do well, not like the very basic one, but like, it seemed approachable, I guess. And now I'm like the bottle thrower guy. So like
That's
it's so funny.
crazy. And also, like, I totally get what you mean. I feel like the low effort content is the one that like blows
Why not?
up.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, do
Yeah.
you have any idea of what? I know you said it may have seemed more approachable, but are there any
Because I was
parts
like
of the
filming
video?
my desktop and my desk was a mess and I was just sort of narrating very casually. Like
Yeah.
maybe just because it was so casual, it seemed more approachable than like me sitting at my desk with like a professional camera or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like
So I
people.
try to do a mix of that, of like,
Mhm.
making stuff where it's some professional and some like more approachable. And I don't know. I haven't been able to replicate that success yet with other effects yet, but like I've been trying different things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, that's great. And I've also just noticed that with my content too. Like a lot of this, like I noticed that the more like professional I have like my background or like whatever, the more it comes off as an ad. And I think that's just what people are just,
That's what it is. Ultimately, that's what
yeah.
it is. I think it's yeah, people are so ad averse now because there's so much of it nonstop
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, okay, any sort of semblance of a normal person, that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to watch, right? So
Yeah. You have to
the
make it
short
seem
form of
as
social
normal as
media,
possible.
yeah, yeah. So it's not a bad approach, but like I also want people to see my high quality stuff because that's
Yeah.
so ingrained in me to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so not a TikToker. I don't even have TikTok. Like
You don't?
no,
What are you on?
mostly Instagram. And then I watch a lot of YouTube, and I like that world. But
Yeah. Do you do any tutorials on YouTube?
no, but I've been asked by a lot of people.
You know, it crossed my mind when you were explaining to me what you were doing with the 360 camera. I was like, this man needs needs a little
I know.
tutorial tech channel. I can see it.
I know. I think what it comes to is like I definitely prioritize like freelance and like direct
Yeah.
income projects first. And
Mhm.
then when I do have time to do passive projects, I'm like chilling and just relaxing from not using the software.
Mm.
So it's really hard to find that internal motivation to want to make stuff for free when
Yeah.
I just spend a ton of hours doing it for money.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree with you. I see both sides. I know a lot of people who want to do this because you know, when the thing about being a freelancer is you don't make money unless you work. You know, versus like some other folks, they like the passive income. So they make courses, they do YouTube or like affiliate marketing, all like the more passive streams of income. Would you say that like you love your work that much that you would prefer to like not go the passive income route, or eventually do you think passive income could be a
yeah,
thing?
I think I could see myself in that world, but I would need like at this point I know myself pretty well that I would need like someone to sort of spearhead it for me
Mhm.
or
You
to
need an
like
assistant.
probably to get it
Yeah.
going because I just don't have that internal drive to want to do it enough
Yeah.
to put in the hours where you don't see an ROI until much later. Like it's
Yeah.
my connection of like, okay, it's a future thing is just so cloudy. I'd
Mhm.
much rather be like, okay, like I'm gonna make my day rate times 5 like today
Mhm.
doing like comp work today, right? So that's so it's so more tangible. And I think hopefully I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I can see that sort of long-term trajectory. And with some of the social media stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, like actually putting some time into personal work does pan out.
Mhm.
And I know that, and it's it's just sort of like a, oh no, I'm gonna say yes to this dumb
Yeah.
freelance thing because it's
Nah,
paying
your
me.
time is money, Ryan. That's what
I
I'm hearing
know.
from you.
So, but again, this is year one of freelancing completely full time, so I'm like learning a lot. Whereas in the past it was full time, and then I did a lot of like side projects as well.
Yeah.
So to me, at that time, the side projects were just bonus money, where I'm like, oh, it's like I'm exploring and I'm making extra money that outside of my salary. Now it's my only money, so I'm like, okay, well now I feel like I have to say yes to all these things, and I have
Mhm.
no time for personal, even though the personal is literally just marketing myself, right? So there's a bit of a balance there of like that I'm in that sort of cyclone of trying to figure out.
Yeah. Wait, so did you say this is your first year of freelancing?
Completely freelance, yeah.
No,
So I
I
was
didn't
on
realize
salary for
that.
like 7 years.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
What has this transition been like for you?
It was like pretty seamless because I had built such a strong freelance base while I was working a full-time job,
Mhm.
especially living in LA. That I sort of just kind of went around and hit up my clients like, "Hey, I'm freelance now, like I'm available," and then stuff just kept coming in. And
Love.
then that kind of initial wave slowed down, and I still have some clients that still reach out to me, but now a lot of it's been internet, a lot of it's been Instagram, or like
Yeah.
because they saw my posts or whatever. Um, I built up a great relationship with this like ex Vine, now TikTok star who does like
Mhm.
comedy bits, and one of her friends DM'd me looking for a VFX artist to like work on her like basically iPhone skits. And I was like, yeah, I can help out for this one thing. But it's because I saw like their message request like right away because I'm like
Yeah.
always on the internet. And so I do that job. And now like she just hits me up all the time with just VFX requests. So I'm like doing
Yeah.
all these really fun, like very sometimes like just comically absurd visual effects techniques where it's like, oh, I'm using liquify to like move the eyes around, or I'm like making mouths bigger, or like comping things together that are just insane, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
And so casual that I like love you. I can't say no. Like, why would I say no? It's so fun.
Yeah, there's such fun projects. You're working with a
Yeah.
friend and you're making
Right.
money. Why not?
Exactly. But all these things, all these sort of techniques I'm doing, like, wait, I could do all these with me in them, and they would probably do great in the VFX world.
Yeah.
Because in for her community it's like huge, but it's not VFX at all. It's just like funny skits, so the
Yeah.
VFX plays into it, but it's not the focus of the content.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
for me it's like my primary goal is to teach VFX or like show people a process.
Mhm.
So by showing these kind of fun techniques, like I could easily just like make a ton
Yeah.
of videos blowing. So at some point I should just do that. I'd be like breaking down all the effects I've done with her.
Uh-huh.
um
No, that
yeah.
would be such a great way to like repurpose content. I feel like that's kind of like the name of
Yeah.
the game is
And that's
on
what I've
on
been
social.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been reposting almost exclusively my client work, but like depending on the layers of where it comes from, it can be difficult to get sign-offs on it. I think with the creator level, like if I'm doing collaborations with creators or they're paying me whatever, it's a lot easier because there's a lot more, they have more control over things and they're pretty chill about it, versus like a production company or a music agency or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really dicey.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a balance where there's a ton of really cool visual work I've done for those type of companies that I can't post. Right. So it's like, how can should I just redo those techniques for my own way, which I could do, or just like put it on my
Recreate
website
the
and write it off
asset,
or
something
whatever.
like that.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. What was probably some of like the big key lessons that you've learned from transitioning to freelance, or any big mistakes that you've made that you know, like
Just, I mean,
can't.
I think it's so common to burn out so quickly because you're saying yes to everything. And I've dealt with that multiple times in the past year already.
No.
It's multiple weeks of like, oh no, I said yes to many things. And now I'm like really not sleeping, or I'm like really struggling here. I've, trying to say yes to everything or just know how to schedule out properly. And that could be really difficult when your brain is so focused on the creative and like the technical execution and stuff like that, that it's like, how do I now go into business mode? I have a friend as an assistant now who's like really helpful with managing some of my projects, helping me with like the finance side, like invoicing and like, just handling all those sort of like logistical things that takes time off my plate, which helps a lot. But I still kind of like that side of things. Like I love being the communicator and I love being like a client people pleaser, which can be good and bad for business.
Yeah.
So, so I'm trying to like just let go of those kinds of things. Be like, okay, like I have somebody to do it. Let me let them do it, and just focus on the creative. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is like not trying to do everything, But it's hard. Being a freelancer is being a business owner. I have to make sure all my taxes are in place and my LLCs, like all the right rules are followed, or like, all those other things you forget about when you're just trying to do art. And when you work a full-time job, like all that's handled for you. And now it's like, okay, wait, I have to do all that. Right. So it's like, when am I going to make time to, make sure all my receipts that I just had are business expenses or not? Like I have to tag all those, but I have to spend a day doing it. Right. So yeah, there's a lot of overhead.
Yeah. Is there anything that you've learned about yourself since switching to freelance?
I definitely do much better when I have external motivators. Like sometimes I miss having a boss. Of being like, okay, Ryan, you need to be on at this time and like, start work or whatever. Now it's sort of like, it's all deadline based and client based. It's like either I'm, answering client right away and like executing on based on their timeline, or I'm doing nothing and I'm on my own time. And it's like, I'm actually sort of struggling with the time that I have for myself, where I'm like, I don't know what to do with 3 days off,
Oh, yeah.
And it's a good problem to have, but it's like I have all this time. I could make my own content, or I could like go on a trip, or like I could do whatever. And I'm getting better at that. But in the beginning, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just gonna do nothing and like brain rot. Like I'm just gonna like go on Instagram, whatever, and like succumb to just instant dopamine hits. And I'm still struggling with that. It's hard, I've like literally been physically turning my phone off to just turn off the internet a little bit and just be like, okay, you know what? Let's clean today. Let's exercise. Let's do more productive things. So, yeah, I think the lack of not having a full-time job, like, and removing all the structure in my life has been a weird thing to deal with for me. So that's been my biggest struggle as a freelancer, I think.
Yeah. Do you have anything so far that's been working well for you? I know you just mentioned like not being on your phone as much, trying to focus on more productive things, but like I guess my question's more about like structuring and like how you structure your day, what you prioritize. Is there anything that has been working for you?
Yes and no. I would say it's still hard,
Okay.
but I will say trying to find like events or activities or things that are actually going to have to be on a schedule. Like if it's like, oh, go play pickleball one day, or like there's a networking event one night, or I want to meet up with this friend at this particular time, like kind of scheduling those types of things, then working backwards, right? Okay, I'm going to work my schedule around those kinds of things as it gets me out of the house, or like signing up for personal training or whatever, or going to a gym or things like that I've tried. So it's still a major work in progress. It's definitely one of my biggest flaws is trying to figure out like a structured schedule, and like the amount of people that have tried to help me with this is unlimited, but it ultimately comes back on me of like, I need to figure out if my stuff works for me. And that's the biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And also that's also the great theme of this podcast, is to show that like no one knows what they're doing. And everyone's just trying to figure it out at the end of the day. And especially in the freelancing, the creative world, I find that a lot of people who I've interviewed, like they're always evolving, whether if it's like their portfolio or their process, it's always a constant work in progress. And that's totally fine.
Yeah. And I think also people ask me too, like, oh, do you have like a dream job or a goal at this point, whatever? And I'm like, not really. Like, I'm just sort of taking things as they come my way and like seeing
Yeah.
what I like the most. But at least I have learned over the years now, I guess being professional for more than 10 years at this point,
Mm-hmm.
like what I don't like to do at least.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's like, I don't love video editing. Like I'll do it, like I'm good at it, but
Oh.
I'd much rather do VFX or photography or like motion design
Mm-hmm.
over pure like editing a narrative together or quotes or whatever. I don't find I'm the best storyteller,
Mm-hmm.
like a narrative video storyteller, but I'm so much more technically good at executing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, let me find like projects that I can play to that advantage and
Mm.
not be struggling like, how am I going to edit this video together? I just like can't wrap my head around it. And I think the nice thing about freelancing is I can say no to projects like that. Whereas working full time, I had to do it, whether I was going to be
Yeah.
good at it or not. That's one thing I've learned at least.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That is so
Or I'm
valuable.
pretty certain at this point that like I wouldn't want to work a studio job where I'm doing a very niche task over and over again because I would get way too tired of it. Like I love the variety of things, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and it's crazy because I've met so many people who love the structure, who don't love surprises, especially when it comes to work. They just want to clock in, do their thing, clock out. But I feel like with a lot of creatives, we love doing something different all the time. Like as you said, I'm the same way. Like it gets boring.
Yeah,
Stuff
it gets
gets
boring.
boring so quickly.
Yeah.
And like when I was doing YouTube in the beginning, like I thought, YouTube was the plan. Like
Hmm.
I'm going to be making tutorials and vlogs my entire career. And then this is what I'm actually learning right now and kind of why I started this podcast is actually video editing is also not my favorite.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I coming into the creative world, I was a video person first. I had to learn graphic design for my job. But like, yeah, the rough cut, it's so hard for me to get through a rough cut these days. And so I'm just like, something needs to happen. Like my YouTube channel has been so dormant the past few years. And I've just been so uninspired by like what I've been creating. So when I made this podcast, I was like, okay, I have zero idea what I'm doing.
Hmm.
But there's still a video component, but it's more like storytelling based where I don't have to make these super clean like edits, cuts. I don't have to worry about b-roll so much. And it's more of like a free-flowing conversation that I don't really have to edit so much. So that's kind of like me venturing in this new kind of content. And also another thing that I've been kind of worried about is consistency. On like when you're on social, you have to be consistent to some degree, right?
Terrible at it. Yeah.
No, I see your stuff
I'm
all the
terrible at
time.
it.
No, but for YouTube, it's like one video a week, whether it's like a
Yeah. Yeah.
vlog, blah, 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 tutorial. I still have to do tutorials for work, which is fine. But like to do it on a once a week basis on my YouTube channel, I don't know about that. And that's what I was worried about with a podcast. Because one, it's another medium. It's more platforms. It's like Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, how am I going to balance it? And surprisingly, I have way more backlog for this podcast than my YouTube channel has ever had. And I'm like, literally, sometimes it is just that exploration phase or even doing something for so long until you realize, like, oh, I actually don't really like this until you find the thing that you actually like. So maybe, I don't know. For me, podcast editing
I mean, podcast
doesn't,
is a
I
great
don't
format
know.
because like you can really speak freely,
Yeah.
and then you can choose as much if you want to edit it down a lot or a little or at all, and
Yeah.
you can just let your brain flow as opposed to like having to script something and then
Mm-hmm.
revise it and then read it perfectly off the teleprompter or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's different audiences, of course, but
Right. And also, speaking of podcasts, I just remembered you said you had a podcast at one point, right?
yeah. So my friends have it's more their thing now, but we
Okay, their
started
thing.
it like kind of in the early days, a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and it's called Until You Make It, and it's all
Oh.
about like the ideas of making in the industry, but it's about indie
Mm.
filmmaking. It's about creatives. So my best friend Chris, he's like he's my college roommate for many years, and we were very close collaborators in school and then post college. He's still in Jersey, but he's a fantastic DP and editor. Can't
Yeah.
recommend him enough. Him and a few other our college friends, like they started the podcast, and I've been on it a bunch. We've had people that we've worked with or collaborated with, or just other guest people on now.
Mhm.
In the early days, we had on like a friend who works at Pixar, who we interned at DreamWorks with. We had on the editor of John Wick 3, who was part of Edit
Whoa.
Party, or the Zoom call I was in. So I would pull in people, he would pull in people,
Yeah.
and we had some great conversations. And I think they're like 30 something episodes in now after a couple of years, like maybe
Yeah.
3-4 years. They've really dialed it too. Like my friend he has like a whole studio in his apartment, where he
Mhm.
has people come in and they have multiple cameras set up and the full podcast switcher and everything. So
Yeah.
he's got it dialed and started a whole channel. We used to be on a channel that was dedicated to like our filmmaking, like our short films and stuff. He's
Mhm.
separated that out now into its own channel to hopefully like grow it separately. So it's
Nice.
just fun, it's just super fun, and the format is great because you like it's also a great way to meet new people in the industry, because
Mhm.
like you can just reach out to people like, hey, you want to be on a podcast? And a lot of people are just flattered by it, and then you end up meeting them and having a great conversation with somebody you never expected to have a conversation with. So
Mhm.
um I love the
Yeah.
format too. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's honestly amazing and great to know, because I was so stoked when you reached out.
I know, I was just on a whim and you said, you're like, oh, here's my podcast letter. I'm like, how do I be a guest? It sounds so fun. Like
Yeah.
I love talking on podcasts. It's so fun.
Noted. You will be a regular then.
I could be a
You
regular.
can come on once a month. We'll start a contract.
Yeah, I'll be a co-host for
Yeah.
certain people.
That'll be, yeah, no, that's super fun. And I agree with you. Like I haven't reached out to any new people. Loki, I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, but technically you are kind of a new friend, right? We met at
Yeah, we
VidCon.
only met a couple months ago.
Yeah, and like, we were chatting, and I feel like you're completely right about being able to have a conversation with someone new or someone that you haven't got to talk to like as in depth than versus at like a networking event or something like that, where I tend to meet a lot of people in the creative industry just through networking, and it's only like 30 seconds, and honestly just it makes me so sad. like
Yeah.
I never thought I would, not that I didn't think I would ever see you again,
But you never know. I mean, just
but
a
like
million, I have certain
yeah.
friends in LA that I meet once and I'm like, oh, we're gonna be great friends. Like this is great, and then I don't see them for like a year, and then you do
Yeah.
pick it back up. Like it feels like no time has passed, but like
Mhm.
I find one of the things about LA I find is so hard is like, one, everyone lives so far away,
Yeah.
and then everyone I know is a freelancer, so like scheduling people to hang out is like so close to impossible.
Mhm.
And I try really hard, like, because I definitely thrive on like seeing my friends in
Yeah.
person,
Oh yeah,
and
extrovert.
it'll take me like weeks to try to like plan getting drinks, like. So I don't know if it's me or just the people I'm friends with or just LA and like the fact that everyone's hustling and doesn't have time to do fun things, but
Yeah.
that's
Honestly,
been a bigger challenge for sure.
yeah, and I feel like now that you say that, I feel like it's more LA, but it's also like a very common thing for making friends in your 30s, cuz
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah.
just heard, I've never lived in LA, but I know enough to be like, I don't know, man, if you're meeting someone, like if you're friends from Anaheim and you're trying to meet somewhere in the middle,
It's
it's a
just,
trek.
yeah, it takes a lot of legwork and you have to like put time
Yeah.
into planning it out, right?
Right. It takes a bit more effort to meet up anywhere in Southern California. But when it happens, it's great.
I feel
Um,
like I have more luck meeting people up when I'm visiting like
Other
home. And
places.
I'm like, oh, I'm in
Yeah.
town for like a small window. Like you have like there's some urgency there. Of like you're gonna miss out if you don't see me now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no,
But here
I
it's
get
like
that
everyone's
too.
on their own schedule and like there is no schedule and then there is, and it's like, oh, it's like people are like, I held up my friends, oh, I'm like out of the country for 2 months, like I'm a
Mhm.
travel videographer, or like, oh, I'm here but I'm like working, or like, oh, I am here but I'm here for like this amount of time that I'm not available. So like it's just,
Oh man, yeah. The scheduling part's really tricky. I've had to start putting like hangouts and stuff on my work calendar because I mainly use my like Outlook for work. So I've started like putting like a separate calendar but all on the same app, because if I just, it doesn't exist if it's not on my work calendar at this point. And I mean, I kind of like it though. Like just scheduling in like for this podcast, I was like recording podcast with Ryan 3
right.
p.m. to about 5.
Yeah.
And like, if
And
I
then I can
hadn't
work
put
my
that,
schedule around it too. I'm like, well, I don't want to miss this thing that I scheduled.
right.
So like, I'm not gonna.
Exactly, exactly. So it's multiple things.
There's ways to figure it out. I think
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
solutions to everything. And it's a learning experience for sure. But
Yeah.
oh boy,
Awesome. Okay. So we're nearing the end of the podcast, but we cannot end this podcast without a rapid fire questioning.
Let
Okay.
me pause very quickly and just feed the dog.
Yeah,
So
go
she's
feed your
back.
dog.
Yeah.
Break time.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. First question. Worst poor decision. Too much caffeine editing at 2 a.m. or saying yes to last minute client gig?
It's rare that I regret a last minute client gig, so I'll have to say caffeine because I've literally stopped drinking caffeine entirely because of how tweaky I would get.
Really?
Yeah, I don't drink it at all.
Oh, so you just raw dogging your day all the time now.
Or I need like a 10-minute nap or something.
A
Like
10-minute nap.
in the middle of a project.
That's great. Okay. If your life was a movie genre, what would it be?
Probably like a sitcom.
Mm.
I mean, that's not a movie. That's like a TV genre. I
Well,
guess.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
Genre.
situational comedy movie.
Love that.
Yeah. It can get really funny and then it gets dramatic and then funny again.
Who would play you?
Everyone says I look like Michael Cera. I even dressed up as Scott Pilgrim for Halloween like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And like I went to this Halloween party and everyone, they weren't even saying, "Oh, you're Scott Pilgrim." They're like, "You're Michael Cera." Like everyone was like, "Wait, can I get a picture of you? You literally are Michael Cera."
What is your wildest fix it in post request that you've ever gotten?
Great question.
I'll tell you mine.
Go ahead.
Someone asked me to unshake the footage.
Unshake it.
Like I would be solely just I did freelance video editing. Like I did not do the filming. So I would get the footage and they would be like, "Can you like unshake this footage?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, just a couple of days ago
really.
I had to add stock elements to footage and it was untrackable. Like I tried every 3D tracker. Like it was so dark and grainy and the exposure was changing. And I was like, I don't think I could do this. Like I ended up like boosting the exposure like crazy and trying to find any semblance of tracking markers by hand. And it was like, I did a okay job, but I was like, I don't know how to do this. I can't fix this.
So is that your answer to the question?
It's a answer to the question.
Okay,
it's probably not the worst. I've probably gotten worse revision requests over the years, or there's projects where you just want to slam your head against the wall.
Okay, what is your drink of choice when you're editing?
I have a lot. Lately I put I have a ton of liquid IV packets and I put them in water and I just like try to stay extremely hydrated.
So. Wait, that's genius. I've only had liquid IV like once in my life. Would you say it works?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it actually works or just makes my drinking water experience better.
Are you terrible at drinking water?
Yeah. Oh. But I also, I used to buy like a whole thing of Gatorade powder too. And just put that in the water and like but I feel like I'm just drinking sugar at that point. It doesn't, it's a trade-off, I guess. So I don't know, but that's probably the most frequent drink I'll have when I'm editing. It's just
liquid IV
up water.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it out. I'll let you know.
Or a blue Gatorade. I don't know why. I just love blue Gatorade.
Wait, which blue Gatorade though?
Like Cool Blue.
Cool Blue. Okay.
Cool Breeze or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Love that. Okay, what has been the biggest plot twist in your career so far?
I mean, probably looking back at it, like ending up as a freelancer. Like, I don't think I had any plan to, or I didn't realize it would be an option. Like as a kid, it was like, oh, I want to be a VFX artist. Like I'm going to work at ILM or like a big movie studio or work on Marvel movies. And now I don't see myself in that world like at all. But I love what I do. So, in a way, gradually, I think it was a bit of a pivot to end up more in the social media kind of advertising space. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things. One quick story I do have.
Yeah.
When I was at DreamWorks, they would pair us with people that are high up in the company to kind of give us advice or how to like have little sessions or whatever. And I met this really great guy. His name was Kent Secchi, and he's a layout artist at DreamWorks, and I think he's maybe somewhere else now. But before that, back in like 2008, he was on like the first like previs, like 3D previs company, and he worked on Iron Man. And are you familiar with previs, like what the process is? So previs is like, it's like storyboarding, but it's when they actually use 3D models to like block out like action scenes.
Cool.
And like what VFX are going to look like before. It's like more advanced storyboarding basically. So it gives a better, more visual idea of what it's going to look like. And so he was doing that. And when he was at DreamWorks, he was doing layout, which is like camera movements and stuff before they go to animation. That's kind of besides the point. But anyway, I had a whole meeting with him about what I'd been working up to that point. And I had been doing a ton of After Effects, like motion design and getting really good at motion graphics. But then I also love VFX and like kind of compositing and stuff like that. And I was like, what kind of route should I take? Like, I'm not really sure if I should pursue more of like a I'm a nuke compositor at like ILM, or I'm working on like motion design. I work for like, you know, a motion design studio or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed him all my stuff, and he was like, honestly, your After Effects skills are really, really great. I feel like if you want to go the compositing route, you have to learn all this new stuff that you don't really know yet. So I think you should pursue the After Effects route, and I think you should take a typography course. So I did. I got back to school that senior year. I signed up for a typography course just to get a little more baseline, and then refined my After Effects motion graphics, and took that advice. So then, you know, within a few weeks of graduating, I had a job doing motion design and content and video. So I was like, oh wait, like I kind of knew that, but to kind of very clearly decide I'm not going to pursue like VFX on a very high end level, even though that was kind of my goal for many years. And go more advertising, and then it worked out great, and now I get to do both, you know. And like there is an industry where you can do both on a more indie small level, and I absolutely love being in that pocket right now. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer to that question. But
amazing. I love that. Side note, I just love hearing those stories of like, you know, people who take make one tiny little change, you know,
yeah,
and then it just like,
and it changes your whole trajectory. Yeah,
exactly. Or you take one tiny little piece of advice, make one little adjustment, and then it's like done deal. It's over. It changes your life. You know, it's amazing. Amazing, man.
It's
Okay.
thankfully worked out for now. Like, you know, everything's been pretty smooth up until now.
Yeah, I think you're great. And you have so much more in your career to explore. Who knows? You might be
Yeah,
doing something completely different. Who
maybe
knows?
I'll look.
You
Who
might
knows where I'll work?
actually end up at a studio and
Probably, yeah. When I'm over the freelance insanity, I'm like, you know what? I do want to settle down and have
yeah.
a stable job. I'm just gonna work at a
You
studio.
never know. If you were back in like the movie, film, whatever, studio space, what dream movie franchise would you love to work on?
I mean, when I was young, the dream was Marvel. Like, I loved Iron Man, I loved Transformers. I was like, I want to work on those movies, like the big action movies, the tent poles, the, you know, the superhero movies. I
Yeah.
think they'd just be so fun to do like VFX work on. And then also on top of that, like working on like commercial, like big commercials, like an Apple ad or like a big Google spot or like a car ad, like something like really, really high end, like VFX, and not so like scrappy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening. You in the commercial space, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the commercial space
I
just
know
for
you are
social
now.
media primarily. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it is a gradual next step. It's a different skill set, I would say.
Yeah, I'm manifesting. I must see an ad on TV or Times Square. I could see it, unless you've done that already. Then
Well, okay, I have
never
one
mind.
small story.
Oh, tell it. I
You
love
can
it.
decide to put it in or not.
I'll put it in.
So back in February, or years ago, I had done this motion design project doing parallax animations where you kind of separate layers and like, you know, build fake kind of faux 3D stuff in After Effects. So I done this project for Alaska Air. It's on my profile.
Okay.
Through another friend, and like 2 years later decided to post it this year, and like it did really well. Like all my friends like loved it, great feedback, and I posted a BTS that also did maybe like 20,000 views on Instagram, which was like really substantial for my profile.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. And then pretty much like within a few weeks, I literally got a job request to do parallax animations for NCAA for March Madness.
Stop.
And so it was like a PSA kind of for their organization.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a broadcast ad. And I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. Like I literally just something I posted, then immediately I'm now doing that technique for somebody. It's like, wow, okay, social media does work, right? So that was kind of part one. Part two, so I finished this project like kind of end of March, and I knew that they were going to run it on broadcast, but I didn't know when or where. And I was in Culver City meeting up with a friend for drinks I hadn't seen in a while, and he's like, oh, dude, what are you working on? Like, any cool projects? I'm like, oh, well, I actually just finished this project for NCAA. It's like just like a kind of a PSA promo type thing, but like I got to do all these parallax animations. And then I glance over to my right, and literally it's playing on the TV at the bar as I'm talking about it. And I was like, wait, dude, that's it. That's my commercial. Like it was so crazy. I've never had that experience where I was like, one, seeing something out in the wild, but the two, literally talking about it and seeing it right in front of me, like in public. I was like, there's no way. So wait, I was so excited. I'm like, wait, that's literally it. I just rendered that on my laptop like 2 days ago, and now it's on TV. Like it was so weird. I
Oh
think
my
also
god.
especially because like it wasn't a project that was like a big team or like I had a small role in. Like it was literally just me on my laptop here in my house, like
Yeah.
just churning out this animation, and now it's on national television. So that was so weird. And then I even went home to Jersey and I was visiting friends. We went bowling one night. Sure enough, it was playing on the screen on the bowling alley, like back in New Jersey. I was like, this is so weird. Yeah, I don't do a lot of broadcast stuff. So it was very cool seeing just like your work out in the wild like that. Like it was wild.
Yeah. That is incredible and divine timing. Like
Right.
I would have passed away if
Yeah.
that happened. I honestly still get I still have like tiny strokes every time I see an Adobe Express ad. Granted, I'm not in them, but when I see them, I'm just like, oh, I work on
Right.
that product.
It's cool. It's like
It's
you
really
get to
cool.
see it is rewarding when you see your work like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't imagine how it must feel like when you see your own work that, as you said, you did the whole thing on your laptop in your room.
On national television, like during like the height of March Madness. Like,
Yeah. Amazing. Oh my
yeah,
God. Ah, I'm so happy for you. When did this happen?
that was in March.
This past March.
Yeah, it's past March. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But again, like the fact that it was like a technique that I had done years ago,
Yeah.
posted about it, someone reached out because I posted about it, and then all of a sudden, like it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's the value of really, you got to post your stuff on online. You got to share it. Like, don't be afraid to share what you can share, because like you never know where it's going to lead you, especially in freelance.
Exactly.
That's my biggest advice, I would think.
Yeah, no, exactly. And also, like, imagine you didn't post that or you didn't share that, because that was also completely optional. You're just showing that as a portfolio piece, or yeah, and then you just never know. You really never know who's watching.
That's it.
Never know. If you could erase one tedious part of editing forever, what would it be?
Some stuff has been erased, like Roto, gone. It's amazing. Love that. Love that we have AI Roto. Probably video editing, like narrative editing, like just. But again, with AI, it's getting better. You can kind of do it, but like just like make me a edit, just take those quotes, put them in order and make it seem perfectly narrative, really great.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that I want to do.
The rough cut.
Yeah, if I could streamline like making a tutorial or something where it's like, oh, here's my screen cap in this, and just like computer make an edit of it, like make a short or something.
Wow, you really hate video editing.
Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I really do. And it's just a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to figure this out. It's too much critical thinking. I want to like blast my music while I like edit keyframes instead.
Love that. Okay, now speaking of music, what is your go-to background music or noise?
A lot of EDM.
EDM?
A lot of electronic music. All kinds too. Odeza's up there for me. Elderbrooks a little more niche. Listen to him. Yeah. But then this week I was listening to like Coldplay this week. I still love like Coldplay and like some of my more indie rock type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, DJ mixes, like they're really great background music because it's just like great energy, kind of pretty, consistent. Like it doesn't change a lot. So when you're working, you just want something that's going to be in the background, but like really get you focused.
Which LA stereotype do you secretly live up to?
What are some typical LA stereotypes these days?
I don't know. Have you ever shopped at Erewhon?
For fun, not because I wanted to. We went as a joke.
Yeah, what happened?
We just went because we had never been, like me and my friends, and we like literally dressed up. Like we were like, what do we do at Erewhon? And then we got a few like weird seltzers or drinks, and then I don't think we got even anything substantial because it was also expensive. So we did go for fun. I go to like Santa Monica Pier all the time. I still kind of like it, even though like most people would avoid it like the plague.
I've been there a couple of times. Yeah. It's not horrible. I think Venice Beach is a little.
It's crazy. It's kind of like fun. It's really fun people watching.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's entertaining. Like,
okay, I'm asking Google. All it's talking about is traffic.
Yeah.
Everything's expensive. Everyone's an influencer, or they're rich, or they're celebrity, or someone knows someone in the industry.
That's true.
And Vocal Fry. Vocal Fry is another one.
Oh yeah, I just educated one of my international friends about what Vocal Fry is. She had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, she realized she did know what it was, and she was trying. I'm like, wait, you sound American now. It's insane. She has like a English, like not English, but like a German English, a little bit of an accent. And then, but all of a sudden, she was speaking with like a and I was like, oh my God, you sound like an American girl. It's crazy.
Have you picked up the LA accent or the Californian accent at all?
Not really, but I mean, there's certain words that I'll say
Okay.
that like certain more West Coast friends or other people like
Yeah.
I kind of adapt my language depending on who I'm with.
Okay.
Like when I'm with Canadian friends, I will say a sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Or I think I started saying like dope a lot.
Okay.
Like that's dope. Like I feel like it's kind of LA or West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does adapt a little bit, but I don't think my accent has really changed. But I don't have a New Jersey accent either, you know.
You know what? That is fair. That is fair. I've been to Jersey one time recently. Yeah, some of the accents
It's
be thick
strong.
out there.
Yeah, I have a pretty
You have a
maybe it's a
neutral
New
one.
England accent. I
New
don't know.
England? Okay, yeah. Which is probably why your voice would be perfect for like voice acting in commercials because
It's pretty
they look for the neutral or the
yeah, neutral.
Californian accent, which
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know
I
why.
can't do like newscaster. I don't really know how to do that because that's really specific, you know.
Mhm.
But I can do like movie trailer. Yeah,
Okay, for the podcast, we have to hear it.
yeah.
You did it off cam, but
What's the name? What's Poor Decisions? Your podcast?
pretty poor decisions.
This summer, coming to a podcast network near you, it's Poor Decisions, hosted by Katrina. Tune in next week to hear the next episode. Okay, that's all I got. The best I got.
That was so good. I'm dying. And also, like, your mic is just very, very crispy.
Yours is good too. Yours is
You
probably
were
better than mine.
no, yours you were licking my ears in 4K.
You gotta get close to it, but like not be too loud. It's like coming soon to theaters, and then you gotta be boomy.
I love that. I don't have that much bass in my voice. It just
Well, I mean, you gotta
everything.
listen to like the common female narrators, I guess.
Mhm.
Like, have you the Jet 2 Holiday meme that's going around?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's like a pretty strong female narration. Of course, she's like English, but
No, I actually said it recently when I was recording my Adobe Max session because my session this year is all about trends and how brands can hop on trends without being cringe and inauthentic. So Jet 2 Holiday came up and I instinctively, oh my god. By the way, this session I was interviewing the head of Adobe Social. So he like, you know, I mean he's a goofy
he's
dude. He was
checked. He's
he
tapped
was
in.
yeah, he's chill, but still
Yeah.
he's an exec. And right when he said, "Oh yeah, and like the Jet 2 Holiday," without thinking I go, "Nothing beats a Jet 2
Yeah.
Holiday."
Nothing beats a Jet 2 Holiday.
Yes.
And you can stay with a family of 4.
Exactly. I just started saying that as he was speaking right when he mentioned it. And I was like, I need to shut the fuck up.
It's so funny.
It's so funny, and I think it's going to be around. And I actually heard online that like people were like, there was no song of the summer. Like we had a Brat summer.
And it was Jet 2 Holidays.
And yeah. They're like, oh, it's a Jet 2 holiday summer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's it. It's a radio bit.
Yeah, hilarious.
Sometimes I'll make little radio jingles for my friends just as a joke. Like if I was making
Okay.
one free, it'd be like, you know, live on the radio, it's Katrina Beats. And it's like, you know, like the different modulations they do with like the little, like I'll do like like the low voice, or like, you know, you can make some really silly stereotypical like radio stinger things.
Wait, hold on. I need to hit you up. Hold on. I might need some of that for this podcast. I need a soundboard of sounds and lines.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. I guess just final notes, final thoughts. If anyone were to take anything away from listening to today's podcast, what would it be?
Freelance is amazing, but also sucks.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
But it has its moments. Find a schedule that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Working on that for sure. And I think the thing I've learned over the years is like you got to be very good at learning new things quickly because things are changing so rapidly, especially all the AI stuff. And like, you know, you can be kind of against it, sure, but it's not going anywhere. So like take advantage of it. Find ways to take advantage of the newest tech, newest tools to make your life easier, and focus on what you're going to bring as a human to these types of things, you know? That's just random thought.
No, that is a very actually important point, because that's also something I'm learning in my work as well, is that like AI still needs the human driver, the human creative brain to get it to put out what you want. And yeah, like you said, no matter what your stance is on AI, love it or hate it, it's not going anywhere. So you can learn it. You don't have to use it. But I always like to tell people to just be aware of what's out there so you could still stay relevant in your industry and you don't get, like aged out.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely in like a move fast, break things type of world right now, where like there's a new AI company every second.
Yeah.
Just in San Francisco, every single billboard was AI, like a new startup. I was like, I've never heard of any of these companies, but they're all doing AI. Love it or hate it, it's not going anywhere. But like, I mean, it's made my VFX workflow so much faster. Or like, I can now do things that I didn't know I was capable of doing, or I had the ideas for, but I didn't know how to. I didn't have the skill to execute it. So like, as an independent person, it's like having these tools is crazy good.
Yeah, we would have killed to have this like years ago too. All the manual work.
Just rotor brush. Oh my god, the amount of times.
I've never roto brushed, but I've heard all the horror stories.
The original rotor brush was brutal.
Huh?
Because that came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rotor brush came out in like 2015 or something, 2016, but it was just not great. I never used it for years because it would be too inaccurate. But then when 2 and 3 came out, I was like, wait, this is like fantastic. I don't have to manually roto anything anymore ever again.
I roll my eyes every time I have to keyframe something.
That I still don't mind. But roto's like, yeah. But no, this was really fun. I don't think we have any more major comments, but like it's always fun to talk about what other people are doing in the industry, and everyone's in the same boat in a way, just doing different things.
Yeah. And everyone's just trying to figure it out as we go at the end of the day.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. Where can people find you online if they want to get connected?
Best would be my Instagram at Ryan Chris Creates. And I'm kind of always on there. You can DM me, and I love answering questions and helping people out. So
And this is where you post most of your work, or do you have like a website portfolio or anything?
Yeah, mostly Instagram, but also my website is ryanlaux.com, LAUX, my last name, which is linked through my Instagram as well. So
perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for listening. Oh yeah, I'm glad you had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this podcast episode. Don't forget to, rate and subscribe to keep listening on this podcast. It helps, discovery and all that stuff. Or leave a comment if you have any questions for myself or Ryan. And with that, I will see you in next week's episode. Bye.